Among all the awareness causes you'll find each month, a focus on life insurance during the month of September is one that benefits us all. And like with anything, turning to an expert will certainly help here. So to that end, we are joined by Cory Sickles, president of Safe Harbor Retirement Group and sponsor of this segment. Always good to see you, Cory.
Good to see you, Robin.
All right, so September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. I know there are different types of life insurance. I feel like this is one of maybe the most confusing things when people hear, right? And is it term? And what's the other one? Tell us the difference.
You know, many times when actually people come in and we sit down, they really don't know what they have.
Yeah.
And, you know, term insurance is easy. You know, you either get like a 10 or a 20 or maybe a 30 year, depending on how old you are. But you make that premium, something happens, they're going to pay that for, you know, whatever that death benefit amount is, but it ends after that term, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever years that is. And then there's permanent. Now, you know, a lot of people are probably familiar with whole life or universal life, and there's also index life insurance. But really, I think the big part of all this is as long as you make the premium payment and you do it the right way, you're going to have that death benefit for as long as you live. So one's a short term, and a lot of times what we'll do, Robin, with clients, say someone's like 40, you know, you do a 20-year term for X amount, which higher amount, because it's cheaper. And then the permanent, you might say, I want only $100,000. So after that ends, you're going to have something, you know, the longer you live, and then you're going to have at least something to be able to pay for funeral cost or whatever you want that to be able to be used for.
And so what do we need to keep in mind then when we're trying to choose between those? Because I feel like you said they can be, you can have both, right, for different things. So what do we need to think about?
Well, I think the really thing you need to look at is where are you age-wise? I think that's kind of important, because let's you know, if you're younger and may say you have 2 or 3 kids, you might want to, you know, if something would happen to you, you want to be able to make sure that you pay the mortgage off for your spouse. You also maybe use that money to be able to pay for their college. So as you kind of go through life, you kind of have to review and say, how much money, if something would happen to me tomorrow, how much money do I really need to have, you know, for my beneficiaries?
Okay.
And we're really here to help ask those questions to find out, to make sure that you do have enough life insurance.
And so if we have a policy, say, is this something we need to keep in mind or look at, you know, depending on the circumstances, life changes, or we just kind of set it and forget it and it's there if something happens? Well,
I'd highly recommend that you would probably, if you have an advisor, you know, we try to review those policies every year. Things change. Your situation might change too. You know, all of a sudden, you know, you're single, now you're married. I mean, there's just a lot of life events that could actually take place. So it's something to kind of review. And then, you know, the other nice part about life insurance too, when we start talking about the permanent type, is you can also now have long-term care riders added to it.
Yeah.
So if something happens, you know, that'll pay for the long-term care. We can also use it as an investment tool where you put money into it and then it comes back to you tax-free later on in retirement as well.
Okay, so it's almost a pre-death benefit versus having it afterwards. And then so if you use it for that, then you'd maybe want a different policy to then be...
Exactly, I mean, exactly right. And that's really why I think if you work with an advisor, we're going to look at your needs and say, you know, here's what we really would recommend for you. And everyone's situation's different. Everyone, you know, has... You know, everyone makes a different amount of money. They own different things, so you want to be able to customize that solution for that particular situation.
And that's the thing. I know that it can be something that, like you said, if you want different, you know, variations of life insurance and you want to figure out, you know, the one that pays for life or long-term care, you really do need to sit with somebody and kind of flesh out. But I think it's hard for some people because they don't like to look at that when they're young, right? I don't want to look at life insurance because that says, what if something happens to me? But I'm sure it is one of those things that you say, better to be prepared for.
It's correct. And, you know, through all this COVID, you know, over the last couple of years, actually 45 years and younger have seen probably about a 30% increase of actually going out and getting life insurance. So it's kind of opened, you know, people's eyes when you actually see people pass, whether it's parents or whether it's someone that's younger. You want to be able to just make sure that you're going to be able to take care of your family, you know. And believe me, you know, the last thing people want to do is when they come in and see me is talk about life insurance.
Sure,
right?
Sure, yeah.
Right. I don't want, you know, I'm going to pay into this and I'm probably never going to get it. But, you know, it's just like it's a security blanket, and you want to be able to make sure that you take that. And but on the other hand, on the permanent side of it, odds are it's going to be used, whether you use it for long-term care, whether you use it for income, or whether, if you don't use any of those two things, then there is going to be a death benefit that's going to be paid out to whoever you want that to go to.
Yeah, it has a vital place, right, in the tools when it comes to investments. And so, Cory, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, call, come in.
Yep.
You've got a couple offices around.
Yeah, we have an office in Dublin and Easton. You can always give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit our website at safeharboroh.com.
All right, there you go, Cory. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.